Hey, guys.
Hey, Romeos.
Hey.
Nice to see you guys.
Beautiful day.
Good to see you. Beautiful day, beautiful evening.
Looking good.
Life is good.
Thank you. I'm doing the shirt thing today,
Yeah,
right?
you're looking hot.
You started the shirt.
Yeah.
Aki,
We're elevating. We're elevating. Elevating our profile
you
here.
have a date this evening?
Yeah,
Wow.
us.
I'm not. You're not putting me in the doghouse. At least not yet.
Let's hold his hand.
Oh, you missed opportunity. You could have said, yes, I'm taking my lovely wife out for dinner.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, you chose to go in an entirely different direction.
I'm sorry. You don't bring out the best in me sometimes.
Yeah, we saw
We'll
that.
work on that.
So welcome, guys.
Nice to be here, Romeo World Headquarters once again.
Yeah, welcome. Like and subscribe, as we always say.
subscribe.
It's good to see you back. We're good.
Nice enthusiasm.
Yeah, we're happy to see you
comments.
guys. We're happy to see you guys. So what are we talking about?
Thought it might be interesting for 4 retired old men
Of course.
to express their opinions on whether or not women have finally achieved equality.
Okay, well, I'm done. Are you going back in the doghouse, are you?
To get things started on a positive note,
Okay.
we should ask Aki
Have-
to express his...
Talk about. I bring up the doghouse, and here we go. Have women achieved equality? Right?
That's a broad term, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
broad,
is.
broad
Oh,
term.
sure.
Yeah.
Sneak in the word broad in there.
Right.
We know where we stand,
That's very good.
and we now know where you stand
that's
on this
very
topic.
good, Pat. That's very good.
I think that for the most part, I think that women have reached equality, but there are still some glaring gaps in our society. And
What gap
area,
are we talking about?
Okay, focus, Nuran. Focus. Okay.
I said broad. You said gap. What the hell?
I know. I can see the perversion taking hold. Get a grip.
I have one now.
Speaking of getting a grip,
I know.
try not to spill your mic and water and everything else on the table.
It's just
keep your hands under
I'm
control.
trying not to imagine what Nuran's doing under the table. So it can be very rattling.
I can see it from here. So it's
Right?
okay.
Okay,
Can
we're
we,
good.
can we
Okay.
get back on
So
topic?
yes, so I think that there's been women have achieved equality, but there's still work to be done, and there's still progress that needs to be done. I think in certain sectors, if you look at the business world, for example, if you look at Fortune 500 companies, and you look at women CEOs and women leaders in the business world, I think that there is still a disproportionate gap in terms of women doing well, in the higher echelons of the business world. I think tech is the same thing. I think in entrepreneurship, very few women are actually, starting up companies and are leading
What?
companies. That's what the data
But
shows.
there is reasons to that. Though.
Okay, so I think that like as I said, do we agree that there are these gaps?
Yeah.
And do we also acknowledge that we could do better in order to even the scales?
What does better mean?
Yeah, that's
what
it.
is we can do better?
Yeah.
What? Because women are 50% of the population, they have to be 50% of everything. There are more women teachers than men. Should we be looking for equality that men have to have more? There are more nurses, female nurses than men. Do we say there's an issue there? We need more men to be nurses? No, it is what it is. I mean,
There's more astronauts.
Okay. There is in the case of teachers,
Yeah.
there are avenues that are very open to everybody. So the process to becoming a teacher is open and it's equitable. That's not the case. That's not the case in the business world. In order
Says
for women
who?
to be able to
Actually,
go into the boardroom as CEOs.
The gaps you're mentioning are real. There are reasons for it at times.
Okay.
Example: not all women want to be CEOs. They have other priorities, whereas men maybe are more inclined to do so. You see it with the medical profession. They work less hours than male doctors because they have other responsibilities. They retire earlier.
they take a year off when they have kids.
Exactly, which is
fine. There's nothing
fine.
wrong with that.
Right.
But from a career perspective, it's
So
difficult.
You put your finger on another issue of equity, which is in terms of the responsibility for the family. It still overwhelmingly seems to be the responsibility of the women.
But we're human beings. Who gives
exactly.
birth?
Exactly.
Who breastfeeds?
So does that mean? Does that mean?
Do you breastfeed?
So does that?
Because that's a
mean-
hairy breast.
You come over here and you can check my nipple if you want. Now, do you think it's fair? Do you think that the family workload be disproportionately on the woman's shoulder? Do you think
Aki,
that's a good thing?
Aki, yes. Because
Okay, you do.
Because part of the problem that we have, there's a lot of societal problems that we've talked about over the months and year and a half that we've been doing this. And part of the problem is the nuclear family is being dissolved because you don't have two parent households. There's nothing wrong with a nurturing mom.
Nothing wrong with that.
So, what's your point?
Why is the formula of the 40s and the 50s? Why in this?
Okay,
As a modern family?
Anthropologically, as a human being, because we are an animal, we're Homo sapiens. We're an animal that happens to be able to think. Anthropologically, what happened? Women had children and cared for their children, and men went out to hunt, gather, do whatever they could to bring the food in to feed and to protect the woman and the child. That was anthropologically as animals. That is what we are.
Okay. And
Okay.
Do you
So
think
now
we should have evolved?
Excuse me? Do you think we should have... People don't evolve in 100 years and 200 years.
So what is...
Evolution doesn't take a few hundred years. It takes 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 years for evolution. So 50,000 years from now, we can maybe... that Romeo generation can have a discussion on their virtual podcast talking about this. But right now, you can't talk about evolution of human beings in the past 100 years of industrial revolution and tell me that things should have changed from an evolutionary perspective and that women don't have the same psychology from an anthropological perspective that we did 10,000 years ago.
So we're going to have the same society that we had in the 19th century? We're still going to have the same society in the 21st century?
I'm not talking about society. I'm talking about the way people think.
The genie is out of the bottle.
The two are interconnected.
No, it's not interconnected.
Of course it is.
Women are more nurturing because that's what they're designed to be.
Do you think that
men are not nurturing? Men will kill their own children, for God's sake.
You're fine with women being the primary caregiver the way they've always been, staying at home.
Yes.
And the man going out and working. You believe in that structure, that family structure for you? There's no problem with that? That should remain as is.
If we had that family structure, if we were back in the 1960s with Leave It to Beaver, I think we'd have a hell of a lot less.
You're going to go in the doghouse after this episode.
There's no one
the
that puts
daughter,
me...
for God's sake. That's what you would expect her to be the one taking on all the responsibility of the family, while her partner can go and have a career and she has no other opportunities in life?
Who says she has no other opportunities
She
in
does.
life?
She does.
Where's your brain going with this? Why? Hang on. Why don't you let me just paint a picture for you?
Paint the picture.
Don't you think that it would be better for society to have two family or two parent households? Don't you think it would be better for society that a child does not get shipped off to daycare when they're 2 years old or a year and a half old or a year old and get raised by other people rather than the mother who can stay at home in the formative years of a child until they're age 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and then go off to work?
Oh, you're living in the howdy doody era. This is the 21st century. What are you talking about? We want.
I'm telling you what I believe is better for society.
Equality,
and you're arguing with me.
Equality. All I'm
based
saying,
on what?
I am saying
that's not equal.
Go back to the basic point. The basic point.
The basic point is society doesn't believe that raising a child is as important as being a CEO,
bullshit.
And that's what we should change.
No, bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Actually, all Naran is saying is that would, in his opinion, that would be the best model. But today, women have the option of going with that model or not.
They don't have that much of an option they do have. It is expected of them, and in practice, women are still taking on most of the responsibility of looking after the family, where the partner or the husband is.
But what's your point?
My point
what's
is
your point?
that puts women at a disadvantage.
That's not true.
That's my point. And most women, I hope we hear comments. But most women will tell you the reason why, the reasons that you talked about, doctors.
Perfect. So hang on. So perfect. So what we should have.
Many hours.
So we should have women that are in the workforce that work as many hours as men, if not more.
No.
And what happens to our children?
Can we not?
Who raises the kids?
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong to imagine where there's a fair share of the responsibility of raising your family and raising your kid between the woman and the man?
Beautiful. Send the kid out to daycare.
Why?
It's okay. Let someone else raise my child.
You're condemning a whole generation of kids that went to daycare?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're anti-daycare.
I'm anti someone forcing the mother to not be a mother.
Okay, guys. If you will allow me,
if that's equality,
as much, and I hope our viewers and listeners enjoy the verbal sparring between the two of you half as much as I do.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But I'm going to try and bring us back to the topic of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, what were we talking about?
A memory issue again.
Whether women have achieved equality.
That's
And so I'm listening to the two of you primarily. Not that I wasn't listening to you, Dominic,
Yeah.
but I find the commentary very revealing.
Okay.
Because what it does is it reveals the biases that you have from, for one, when I listen to Aki, it's like North American society or Western society is the only society in existence today, completely ignoring the role of women in other societies. And Nuran, with all due respect, while this is about expressing our opinions, I get the sense that we think it's our role to determine the role women should play in society. So I'm going to answer my question this way. Women have always been equal to men. The problem is that they haven't been recognized as such by most of the societies they've been part of from the beginning of time to this day.
That was my comment.
Are men and women the same? They are not the same.
And they're not supposed to be.
They're physically different.
Yeah,
They're
and-
psychologically different.
Yes.
They're different in so many respects.
Yes.
exactly. Thank God.
But they're
Yeah.
equals. And when I say they're equals,
I agree.
meaning that they should have the same opportunities to make choices for themselves,
Yes.
regardless of where they're born and raised,
Yep.
regardless of the society they're a part of.
Okay.
And that is simply not true today across most societies around the world.
Agreed.
Therefore, while I will argue that in Western society, women do face better opportunities today and better treatment today than they did a century or 2 or 5 ago, from a global perspective, women are still not equal to men. Should they be? Absolutely. They should have always been.
Yeah, but so my point earlier is if society can regard the upbringing of a child as equivalent to being a CEO or a VP or whatever, being a successful businessman, then they would achieve that equality. The problem is that they don't.
The problem I have with this argument, and I'm not suggesting the place your argument is coming from. I'm only expressing an opinion that across most societies today, and even Western society,
Yeah, it's not.
all the norms, most of the rules are still being set by men.
Yeah, agreed. It's,
It is not our right to determine what a woman should or should not do,
Okay.
what a woman should or should not choose to do.
yes.
It is entirely her decision.
Yes, but if
We
she
may-
decides to stay at home and
we-
raise a child, it shouldn't be frowned upon.
It doesn't matter nothing should be frowned upon.
Yeah.
Whatever choices she makes
Correct.
are her choices to make.
Exactly. I agree with
You
that.
may have an opinion. I may have an opinion. Everyone may have an opinion.
I agree 100%
We agree. We
with
all
that.
agree with that.
But
statement.
that is in no way should take away the right that she should enjoy to make whatever choices she opts to make for herself.
Yeah. So the problem I have is the societal pressures, which I think what you were getting at as well, Aki, are the societal pressures these days are forcing women into the workforce when perhaps they would have wanted to stay at home and raise a child.
I don't know about that.
But because you have to pay
Not in all
No.
societies.
no.
in Western society.
Look,
I'm talking about Western society and how expensive everything is, how you have to have a dual income. Everyone wants things. It's more about wants than needs. I agree with you on that. But because of those wants, you want to have a bigger house, you want to have nice cars and so on.
just to make ends meet.
Well, there's an ends meet lower spectrum, and then there's the I want more nice things spectrum, which a lot of people are caught in the middle of, especially with social media.
Yeah, I just think, look, whether you're man or woman, if you don't want to take the time to raise children, then perhaps
shouldn't have
You shouldn't
children.
have children.
No, right. No,
Right?
right.
Now, by the same token, and you used examples earlier of 6 months, a year, whatever, let's remind ourselves that you're talking about established Canadian norms and standards. Those are not the same norms and standards that you'll find in the United States, for
Yeah,
instance.
for basically time off when you have a child is what you're
Right?
talking about.
So
Yeah.
6 weeks in the US. And by the way, if a woman chooses to come back to work after 2 weeks,
She
in
can.
some circles should be celebrated.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, you know what's crazy is that we should all have an opinion on this, and yet the woman is going to be judged by others, regardless of the choices or decisions she makes, when she has every right to make the decisions that she believes to be in her best interest.
No,
That would be true equality.
But it's not.
But it's not.
So what you're saying is, it's your opinion, and I agree with it. It would be the best option, stay at home. But today women have the option of doing whatever they want. And yes, it's a bit of a compromise. We did it in our case. My wife had a career. She's a CPA. We had 2 kids. I think we raised them pretty well. So there is a possibility there that, it would have been better if she had stayed at home or I stayed at home.
Better for who?
But that's what I don't think it would have been.
No, but better for who?
For the kids.
No, for the kids. But
You don't know.
I don't think so.
A parent who stays home out of obligation, when they would choose not to. They prefer not to.
Well, again,
the kids are not going to benefit from that.
That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that societal pressure forces them to go back to work.
I don't agree.
If they didn't have that pressure, if you didn't have to make that paycheck so that you can pay for the mortgage and for your car lease.
That's a choice.
Well, that's a choice, but this is the choice that people are making. And I'm suggesting that maybe that's not the best choice for society for kids to be raised in a kid farm.
But I don't think so. Here's where I'm just going to try and get things back on track.
Okay.
I don't believe that women in North America have to either stay home or go back to work. They're free to make the choice.
Yes.
It's their choice.
But if they have bills to pay, because they've put themselves in that position.
What bills?
Yeah, mortgages and car leases and whatever.
If you have a mortgage that you can't service, maybe you shouldn't own a property.
Yeah.
Right. I think
it's a choice.
I think
it is a choice.
You're making it too simple. I think women, they get an education, they want a career.
Okay.
It's not about just for the paycheck. It's to build something.
Right, exactly.
And don't forget, women today, to me, for my 2 daughters, what's most important is to be independent of any man. And to be like that, you have to have a career and a decent income.
Perfect.
So, kids or no kids, you should never, as a woman, put your career on hold.
Okay.
Forever.
We agree.
So now, perfect. So now we have a North American society that can't replenish its population because no one's having kids because all the women are waiting until their 30s before they have potentially their first child because they're focusing in on their career. So great, you've achieved equality. Perfect. You're equal to men. You're not going to have your biological
Equal in what sense?
in the job market. You can go and you can be a VP, you can be a CEO, no problem. Go into become a partner at that law firm, no problem. Work your ass off. You're just mentally they're equivalent, if not superior, to most men. That's fine. But from a biological perspective, who has children? Women have the children. That's the only way we can procreate as a society. So now we've got a North American society where women are focused on career. They want things. That's fantastic. They want to pretend to be a man. You want to be a man and you want to go to work.
I don't think because you want to work or have a career.
Yeah, but what happens?
What happens
to
you want to be a
families?
man? How about you want to be a woman?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's your version of what a woman should be.
Perfect, because that's what society has told you now. Because everything on your TikTok and on your Instagram feeds are telling you how you should have this and you should want this and you should do this. Fantastic. Whatever happened to the family? We don't even have a birth rate that keeps us going in North America.
Okay,
Why is that?
In that case, there was no Instagram, there was no social media. This is what we did.
But
Okay, but that's your life. It's the same thing for us, by the way.
Okay, but Nuran, okay, just the simple point that we're trying to make is, and I'd like to hear your answer to that, is the choice, free choice. If the woman of her free volition decides to build a career and would like to have a family, right?
In that sense, there's equality.
So we respect that.
So guys,
no problem. We have equality there.
The real
Respect that.
test of equality is not some of the personal choices individuals may make. It's whether or not the society they're part of allows them to make those choices.
In North America?
For instance, no, I'm talking from a global
Well,
perspective.
let's focus North America. I think women have achieved equality in North America more or less based on that threshold.
More or less, yeah.
Right? You can go to work. You can have a kid when you want.
I still don't perceive women to have the same opportunities as men. Certainly, I think that Western society has progressed
Okay.
significantly.
You think they're far off? Okay. In what sense?
To me, far off. It's so we're talking about degrees.
Well,
the fact of the matter is that I believe men today in society, in Western society, are still afforded more opportunities than women
Exactly.
Listen, they've watered down firemen positions and police positions so that women women can enter that
wait a
workforce.
second. Just the fact that you describe it as watering down,
Yeah, because it's physical
demonstrates
work.
where we're at in terms of our thought
Okay,
process.
so I'm the bad guy because I want my fire person to be able to carry a 180-pound person out of a fire.
It's not a question of good guy or bad guy. It's a question of perspective.
Okay, what's wrong with my perspective then? Tell me where I'm wrong.
Because I will say that I want to be part of a society where job requirements are not based on gender.
Not
Job
gender,
requirements
physical
are
requirements.
based on requirements,
Yes.
legitimate requirements.
So when you water down the requirement, what have you done?
You're not watering them down. You're establishing requirements.
Yeah, so if you have an established requirement for a man in a position and a woman for the same position.
So I don't want it to be a requirement for a man or a woman. I want a job requirement.
Yeah, but that's not what happened.
They took a man and they wanted
Then we have a problem.
Well, that's what I said.
No, they established once upon a time requirements for men because the thought process these are jobs for men.
Okay.
As opposed to saying, what does the job require?
Right.
Now bring on the candidates and those who can meet the requirements of the job, whether it's intellectual, physical, or otherwise.
If it's physical, then there's an issue.
So be it.
But I do agree with Duran. They have watered down.
Okay, guys, but this is it. How can we be for equality when your attitude is, when there's women in these certain professions, you're looking at them
Aki,
with so much
we're
suspicion.
not the same. Men and women are not physiological.
You haven't answered my question, though.
But they're not the same.
Why do you not see a woman fire person as the same as a male firefighter? Why do you not?
We do.
No,
Listen,
you don't.
There are certain women who can meet the threshold of what required for the job that a man has to do, and those women should have the job.
It shouldn't be a job that a man has to do. It's a job that needs to be done.
Okay, so sorry for my words, but you understand my point.
But
my point is, if there's a threshold here that a person has to get to before they watered it down to let women into the profession.
See, this is the problem now. When you talk about watering down and
but
women,
it's true.
You're already diminishing. You're
Aki,
already undermining equality. You have equality.
Aki, why do we have men and women's sports and they're not just sports? Why are they separate? Why are there
depends on the sport.
Stop. For the vast majority.
Okay, but it depends on the sport.
Which sport?
Which sport is mixed?
Biathlon. Doesn't matter.
But do they both do it?
Swimming.
Target shooting.
Swimming now. Mixed medley.
No,
Guys, you're making my...
No, he's talking about equal to equal. Equestrian. There's no difference.
That's not a fucking sport. It's the horse that does all the work.
Gosh.
Yeah, come on.
Pat, stop. I can't believe you're trying to argue in terms of sports. Any kind of physical activity.
It depends. My point is, it depends on the sport.
Your definition of sport is a little bit too wide as far as I'm concerned. Anything
if it's an Olympic event, then I'm sorry. It fits the bill.
Okay, do most
Yes.
Olympic events have male and female?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so stop telling me what the exceptions are.
No, because it's like the rest of society. You want to use sport as an example, and my point is simply this.
The example I'm trying to say is one thing. The one thing I'm trying to establish is that men and women are not the same physiologically.
Okay.
They're not the same.
Okay.
They're not the same psychologically either, but that's a little bit of a softer touch. But from a physical perspective, you cannot expect a woman to do the same thing that most men can do. Some women can, fantastic. Some are strong as hell. Look at MMA. I mean, there's lots of things that women can do, but in general, from a physical perspective, they're not the same. So stop saying they're equal when they're not. It's a lie.
Okay, but Nuran, do you accept?
Who said they were equal from a strength perspective?
Well, you're saying that they've achieved equality.
No.
You're telling me
not
that...
listening? I have said that men and women from the get-go should have been equal.
Yes,
and that most societies have failed to recognize them as equals and have not treated them as equals.
Yes.
That's my statement.
Okay. My statement is that they can't be treated as equals for certain things that require physicality because they are not equals. Okay, and you cannot change that.
And I come back to,
But it's not just about it. But
if you are denying women an opportunity, any opportunity, based on prejudices, then you are in the wrong. If there are legitimate requirements that any individual, male or female, cannot meet,
I agree with you.
then they apply.
Yeah, but then when you water down that requirement so that you can let women into a profession that was male dominated,
it means that you start at a certain level.
Correct.
What went into establishing those requirements?
The requirements for the
It's
job.
like saying women were not qualified to be fill in the blank. Who said the requirements? I'm going to trust that, to come back to your example of firefighters,
Yes.
if we as a society are setting requirements for individuals to become firefighters, then they are appropriately set.
Really. And if they're not the
Now,
same for men and women,
Sorry?
if they're not the same requirements for
Why
men and
wouldn't
women,
they be the same?
that's my fucking point. If they're not the same,
No, but who says they're not the same?
they aren't. A female firefighter doesn't have to do the same thing that a man has to do, or else there wouldn't be any. There'd be very few of them.
That's ridiculous. That's like
It's the
saying
same thing as
that's
going
like,
into
no, that's
the
a ridiculous
military.
argument. It's like saying all men have equal strength and capability.
Most men,
No.
most men are stronger than most women.
If I have to carry
If
a
I-
300-pounder down a ladder,
you won't be able to.
right? Exactly.
But it's not 300 pounds. If it's 150 pounds, maybe you can.
Maybe. And
Yeah.
maybe some women can too.
Some women can,
So
but
that's
most.
all. Well, most men cannot.
Are you arguing with me that more men can do it than women?
No, I'm not arguing
Okay,
that.
then
I'm
stop
telling,
the argument.
I'm
It's
telling you,
ludicrous.
no. Now, what's ludicrous
Is what?
is that you have this preconceived idea
Of what?
that requirements are established for male professions and then get watered down to accommodate women in the workplace.
It has
I
happened.
think that's ridiculous.
It has happened, though.
I'm saying that that has happened, as you said, and where it happens, I'm against it because I think that's the wrong thing to do. I don't think you should force equality when women are not equal to men from a strength perspective. It's just physiologically not the same.
Because it's not just the example that you give. It's not just about strength. It's about other factors as well. It's the aggregate
when I'm
that you have
burning
to
in a
look
fucking
at.
building, I don't
It's
care how
the
smart she
aggregate-
is.
It's the aggregate that you have to look at.
I think what Pat is saying, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, is that those requirements were not necessarily watered down. They were revised so that, you know, actual ones are the ones that are necessary. So I don't know. Maybe
Okay, but so look, very simply,
Yeah.
when again, a firefighter, a woman firefighter, you have confidence in a woman firefighter just as you would have confidence in a male firefighter. Very simply.
No.
no.
Okay, well,
No.
that's where we
No.
really diverge.
If I'm passed out, I'm 180 pounds, let's say, 175 pounds. I'm lying down on the floor because I'm unconscious,
Okay.
and a guy comes in, 200-pound guy, he'll be able to pick me up and pull me out.
That's
There's a possibility. that-
150-pound girl that comes in, who's still
I
150
don't have an
pounds, is a
argument.
nice, strong
You
woman.
answered. Okay, that's fine. That's the.
Listen, first of
it's
all,
unjustified. Your position.
we're kind of diminishing the role of a firefighter.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's
more than that.
It's
more.
way more than that.
It is.
So from administering CPR, and by the way, if you're in the Twin Towers when they're collapsing, it doesn't matter whether a firefighter is male or female, you're going down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you look at
That's a weird
requirements in a job, whether it's applying CPR or administering aid or whatever the service is that you're expected to provide
Reflexes,
in your
speed.
role, right? Then it's fine. If there are specific requirements that demand feats of physical strength,
Yes.
male or female,
Yes.
if you can't meet the requirements, then you're not a candidate for that job, period.
We agree.
That's it.
The problem that I have is if they have a requirement for a female that's different than a requirement for a male
So I don't-
for the same job.
I don't know
And
how
if
many
you-
times we're going over the same point. I said I don't believe in male or female requirements. I believe in requirements.
Objective
Period.
requirements.
So why are we agreeing so loudly?
Guys,
Because you don't. Because
Because you don't listen.
Right. You don't see.
I have the same opinion of you.
Right, but still, having agreed on that point about requirements being gender neutral, you still feel that a male firefighter, you have more confidence in a male firefighter than a female firefighter.
If a female firefighter
If the objective
can-
requirements were met by both people.
if they were the same, that would be perfect by me.
there you go.
But they're not. That's the problem.
Well,
So, guys, can I propose a focus in terms of compensation? Have women achieved equality?
No.
Or
Mostly, but not
mostly?
quite.
but not.
Mostly.
Yeah, but not
Yeah.
quite.
Well,
there's no-
mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah.
So when we say mostly, the
Yeah.
answer is no.
No, I know, but I know in some
In-
some industries, for example,
Yeah.
the one that I
In the tech industry,
in the tech
they're-
industry they have.
They have.
They
I mean, they're getting paid just as much, if
Biotech,
not more.
they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, tech is another example of one of those sectors where you have what? I mean, I saw statistics on this. 5% of tech, top 500 tech companies have women in the boardroom.
Well, listen, there's a reason for this because
So, no, sorry.
historically-
What is your point?
My point is, though, that when you look at the number of women that work in tech, and you look at the number of men that work in tech, and you look at the number of both of them who advance to senior
but
positions, women are very
Okay,
underrepresented.
hold on. First of all, boardroom representation
I'm talking about
is not workforce representation.
executive
just to make it
executive
clear.
suite.
No, so boardroom is not an executive suite. A boardroom is a boardroom.
right, you're
So
correct.
so
C-suite is what I'm
women
talking about.
today are better represented on boards than they ever have been. Does that mean that they have equal opportunity? So I will argue that it depends. Because today, until recently, there's been such a push to get visible minorities and women
DEA.
onto boards that it's actually discriminated
Exactly. Yeah.
against the old guard of, the white male
Right.
Yeah.
board
The-
member.
The
But-
DEI initiative.
And sometimes, in order to achieve a healthier balance of representation in various aspects of society, the pendulum does have to swing too far in one direction to then find the appropriate balance.
Yeah,
So, again, I think it's in Western society,
absolutely.
I think we'd be hard pressed to argue that women have not progressed, don't have better opportunities than they've ever had. Because I think the facts, the data is there to support the argument that they have, and they do.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they have achieved equality as of this point. And for me, the acid test is really the one where a woman is given an opportunity to make a choice, to make a decision with herself in mind. And if she's denied the opportunity, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
And
And there are still many facets of society, even in Western society, where that statement applies to this day.
So which ones? Where can women not make a decision for
So
themselves?
I can tell
in
you,
Western society.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
right, without naming names of organizations that I have been a part of, where I have heard individuals in the most senior ranks make blanket statements about how a woman should not be given an opportunity only because she was a woman. And those individuals had preconceived ideas
Okay.
as to what women were or weren't qualified to do.
So that's through your eyes, and I'll
Right.
tell you through my eyes. I've been in an organization where visible minorities and women were constantly promoted without merit, without a view to who was best for the job, and just because there were either women or visible minorities were promoted to those positions, and I'm talking about VP positions. And this was a very large
Yeah.
company in the U.S.
So I would tell you that in both my example as well as yours,
yeah,
Not good.
I am completely opposed to those approaches.
yeah, but
Because for me,
Yeah.
society will operate at its best when those types of decisions are based on merit.
Yeah, meritocracy is what we all would want as well. I agree with you. But those, again, for maybe there are more companies like the one you mentioned than the one I mentioned.
I don't know. Either way,
It's wrong.
I believe that it is not in the best interest of society.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Totally agree.
So where are we with respect to equality? From a potential, from a decision-making perspective, I would say that women in North America anyway have the potential to pretty much run their lives the way they want at this point. Women can choose to not get married, not have children early, late, take time off, ship the kids off to daycare. There's so many options that are available right now.
They still face some form of discrimination or misogyny just based on the fact
Okay, I'll give you that.
that they're female.
I'll give you that. There's still the old
and that
male guard.
And that may never change. That may never change.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And that's in Western society.
But that's diminished so much.
Elsewhere in the world,
It has.
They don't even have the rights, the basic rights that women should enjoy.
That's a whole. Listen, yes. So let's not talk about the rest of the backward planet.
I mean, I'm thinking of one country where education
Yeah, Afghanistan
is illegal.
Yeah, okay, and driving in Saudi Arabia just started a few years ago for
Correct.
women, etc. So
Correct.
yeah, we get that.
Well, listen, we're a century removed from women. It's only 100 years. It's not that much from women not having the right to vote in some Western societies.
Yeah, men couldn't vote at some point either. So
For different reasons. It's not because they were men.
okay, so
So
in my view, women in North America, let's stick with North America because we don't want to talk about backward societies like Afghanistan, for God's sake. But in North America, by and large, at this point, a woman can choose what she wants to do, when she wants to have a child, if she wants to get married or live alone, if she wants to have a same-sex partner, if she wants to be a man.
So are you prepared to say that women in Western civilization today are treated as equals?
By and large, yes.
Okay.
Although they're not.
No.
They're not the same as men. I
I'm
want to
not
make
talking
that
about whether
point.
or not they're the same. Are they treated equally?
More or less, yes.
Okay. Dominic?
Yes, I agree with Duran.
more or less, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And you, Pat.
So the fact that we say more or less to me means no, not yet.
Okay.
100% no.
So my answer is no, they're not.
No, but there's huge
Mostly
progress.
yes.
No, mostly yes is like
Is not
is
yes,
yes.
enough for you.
It's
I know,
not
but,
yes.
But you have to but you have to acknowledge the progress.
Of course, that
has been made.
I can't repeat myself enough in that regard.
Okay.
Okay, so you're being a stickler for saying, well, they're not exactly equal, so it's no. My point earlier, and what I got my hackles up and the arguments, is that men and women are not equal physically.
No,
they're not
the
the
same.
They're not the same. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm not talking about whether they're the same or not physically. I think it would be ridiculous to suggest otherwise.
Well, I tried, and you were telling me how they are the same, and I was freaking out that you were trying to make that argument.
No, I didn't. You see, you don't listen.
You don't listen.
I never made the argument that they're the same. I said that job requirements
You were talking about
should be
sports in the
established.
Olympics.
Sorry?
You were talking about Olympic sports.
You were using sport as an example, and I
Yes.
simply pointed out that there are some sports based on requirements
Yes.
that don't discriminate against one or the
and
other.
by and large, most do.
And generally speaking, in society, I would like to see requirements for anything,
Yes.
education,
We violently
work,
agree.
and so on, established on the basis of objective requirements,
Yes.
not on the basis of gender or
Correct.
sex.
I agree with you 100%.
So, Pat,
That's not the way it is, though.
to bring your point of sports, for equality to be complete, does it have to include sports? Just a point.
Good question.
Of course, all facets of life.
See, I disagree.
All facets
it
of
can't.
life.
It can't.
Why? Why can't it?
Because you're not going to have female hockey players against a male team. You're just not.
So I would like to think that the reason you don't have female hockey players at the pinnacle of the sport participating in a league that is today not dominated, but exclusively male,
Yeah.
is because they don't have the necessary skills or abilities to perform at the required level.
No, it's the physicality.
That's the reason.
It's the physicality.
No, you're pointing out physical. It doesn't matter what it is.
Well,
They don't have the skills
Yes.
or attributes to meet the requirements.
Yeah.
Period.
So they're not equal.
Period.
So you just said they're not equal.
And they never
No,
will.
I'm saying they don't have the abilities. So what?
And they never will.
And they never will.
In certain sports, they won't.
You're not going to
But
see
that's-
female.
but that's-
But if someone does,
Yeah.
they'll be admitted,
Yeah.
just like in amateur
So
sports
Manon
today.
Réaume was
You have-
was
you
a
have
goalie that
very-
made it into the
you have-
NHL.
No, she didn't.
Well, she had one game or one whatever.
No,
right?
she had a practice.
Preseason.
preseason or whatever.
At various levels below the pinnacle of a sport,
Yeah.
where you have females that have the ability to perform with the male counterparts, they are admitted.
And they have the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Billiards,
talking about.
bowling.
And that's progress, because once upon a time,
Yeah,
they would have been
So that's-
refused strictly on the basis that they're female.
That's the whole point.
I'm okay with that. Curling.
curling, billiards, bowling,
I'm okay with that.
whatever.
It doesn't matter. Any facet of life.
Bow and arrow, whatever, archery, all of that stuff. Male or female doesn't matter.
The reason why I was asking that question is because, it can never that we can never achieve in terms of equality in sports. That's impossible.
It depends on the sport.
Well, it depends
on the requirements.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, the main sports, like, hockey, basketball, baseball, football.
Why would not? Baseball, I guess.
I mean, come on, like guys, like why are we
you're
even
kidding.
debating this? I mean,
We're not debating it.
Look at tennis. When you watch a men's game and a woman's game, totally different.
So do you think?
There's a reason other than gender why many sports are divided along gender lines.
What other reason?
Some of the ones you're raising, that the physical demands are such that one cannot meet the requirements
they're
of
not
the
the
other.
same. Men are not equal to
Yeah.
women in period. Physically, it's
Physically, we've
like,
established.
let's just.
I know, but that's
It's
not
blowing my brains
I
out
know.
that you guys aren't like just.
No,
yes.
we agree.
No,
we agree.
it comes down to requirements. So yes, if
Pat.
you're not physically capable, then you're not going to participate. Period.
Oh my God!
Period.
Why are you like splitting all these hairs, for God's
No,
sake?
but he's saying
It's
the
a
Because I
language.
refuse to separate along gender lines.
That's it.
What I'm saying is if you don't meet the requirements, you can't participate.
Okay.
Period.
Well, the pinnacle of most sports that are physical, that are, track and field, gymnastics, any of these
Yes,
things.
in the same way that you and I would not be admitted into the women's professional tennis ranks because we're not capable of meeting the requirements.
I'm sorry, but if I was
Period.
a tennis player, if a male wants to go into the female, look at all the transgender shit that's going on because people don't want biological men who transition to be a female.
I agree.
Playing in
agree.
female
That's-
sports.
I agree,
outliers.
100%.
Why? Because they're men. Because physiologically they're still a man. Why? Like let's just cut the bullshit.
There's no bullshit.
He's saying the same thing.
No, but he's like splitting the hair. He's
No,
like, come
my
on.
point is
Yeah.
you and I are not capable of certain things. We're not admitted,
Exactly.
regardless of whether it's male or
So,
female.
is a straighter is for everybody.
Yeah.
That's it.
I get it. You and I can't play hockey in the NHL either.
You and I couldn't play hockey in the women's hockey league.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay?
And that's how sad it is.
But that's because I can't skate. I could be an enforcer though.
No, if you can't skate,
you
I'm
can't
telling
skate,
you,
yeah.
they would take you down in a hurry.
Exactly. See some of those butch.
I take my chances.
That's exactly what you'd be doing.
So is there any other aspects of equality that there's compensation, there's opportunities? What else? Is there anything else that?
Men can't have babies.
Well,
Maybe we can change that
It starts
too.
with rights.
Yeah, and the rights here in North America.
Yeah, I think that's where the greatest progress has
Yeah.
been made in
So,
Western
I
civilization.
think they have all the rights.
And where the greatest effort should be applied in other civilizations.
yeah,
Listen, the equality question is, again, we said more or less yes. I mean, yeah, there's maybe another few percentage points to go. You're right. From a compensation perspective, yes, that's bullshit. Women should definitely be paid as much. And in lots of like technology, biotech, whatever,
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
places
all done.
that's already happened.
Yeah.
So the trend line is super positive. I think that from a societal perspective, though, we're going downhill. Unfortunately.
because of equality.
How so?
Because of equality.
No, I think he's going to go back to
Yeah.
the family,
The nuclear family thing. Listen, we were lamenting about all this immigration that we're forced in North America. Hey, we need to grow. Populations need to grow. We don't have enough kids. Oh, we got to let in people from all over the world. And
they're having the kids, so don't worry about it.
well, yeah. Well,
No, I totally disagree with you. I think a child who sees the mother, who has a career, who's capable of juggling everything.
yeah, that's a super mom. Fantastic.
Can only be positive.
Yeah, so for me, I'm telling you, the whole population argument falls short only because I believe we're already overpopulated.
Exactly.
And so I welcome a decline in population rates.
Except it's happening in the wrong place.
Let's talk about immigration, folks. Asylum seekers.
no,
We already have. We already have.
So tempting, but I don't know. So, I think.
So I'm the bad guy here, guys.
No, you're not the
You're not a bad guy. You're entitled to your opinion.
It's the way you. What you're saying is not wrong. It's just that it's not the only option. I think you said super mom. I don't think it's super
see,
mom. I think it's an active mom.
I think to your credit, you're very much committed to family, the idea of family, and you.
But who isn't?
No, I know, but
Some people aren't.
Oh, you're right.
right. And my point is, and the argument that we're having is, you see, that both partners, in my opinion, have equal responsibility for the well-being of that family. It should not just fall on the shoulders of the one who actually physically gave birth.
No,
That's what I'm
absolutely.
saying.
If the husband doesn't help, he's an asshole completely.
That's
100%.
that was
I'm
the
just
point I was making.
lamenting where society is going and the pressures that are put on people to, and dual family or dual working households are the norm.
But here's
and
the
have
good
been
news.
even through our times.
But here's the good news.
Tell me, please.
It's a reflection of the choices people have made.
Yeah.
So I say that is good news only because it hasn't been forced upon anyone.
Exactly.
It's a choice.
There's societal pressures.
And as long as people are free to make choices, I'm okay with it. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, your point is super valid.
But the other part of that argument as well is once the woman has made that choice, then she should have a fair chance to succeed in her choice, to be supported in her choice.
And they do.
Yeah, and by and large,
But this is
do.
where sometimes the pendulum swings too far. So for instance, so I'm going to take the example of a woman who chooses to put her career on hold to be a stay-at-home mom for the first 4 or 5 years of her child's existence.
Yeah.
It's her choice. Everyone should respect that choice.
Absolutely.
After 5 years, she decides she wants to re-enter the workforce. No one should pretend that from a career standpoint,
She took a hit.
that nothing has changed over those 4 or 5 years,
She took a
Fair
hit.
comment.
definitely.
That's a fair comment.
right? Her qualifications, knowledge, and skill
have diminished.
may have diminished depending on what the job is.
I know, but she has.
And it's going to require some time
Yeah.
in order for her to be able to get back to a point where she may face similar opportunities to the ones she would have faced if she had remained in the workforce.
But she should have that
that's,
chance.
And that's fair.
That's all.
And we agree that
That's
she
true.
should have that chance.
That's true.
Sure.
She should still be respected.
That's why.
Yeah, but
have that chance.
his point is valid. That
Well, that's-
that does put women at a disadvantage.
But that's
why you got to find a balance in your life.
Yeah.
You don't stay away 4 or 5 years. You stay away 8 months.
No.
12 months.
I'm going to disagree. You stay away as long as you choose
Okay,
to.
but that's your decision.
Right.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
understand that for any decision you make,
Yeah, there's
There's a-
consequences.
there are consequences.
Okay,
some may be
that-
positive and some may be
Totally
negative.
agree
But you
with you,
agree.
sorry.
I think we all agree that if once you decide, once your leave ends and you go back to your career, you're entitled to be able to rebuild your career.
Of course you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you
But
can't,
you got a hit,
you can't expect that.
and your salary will have a hit.
Of
You
course,
can't
you're not
expect
going to be. You're not going to be at the same level.
And maybe
that you
that's
would
why
have been.
women don't earn as much as men.
But still, you're going to be respected, and
You
you're
have
going
to
to be
look at
given
like
the
holes.
opportunity.
So you're not telling me that you expect a company to wait 5 years and to take her back at the same position? Is that what you're saying? Because that's the feeling I
No.
get. Yeah, that's what
No,
I'm
by,
saying.
by law today,
wait,
by
wait.
law today,
No,
no company, no business
I agree.
is being expected to take someone back into a job
But
after
Aki
5
does,
years.
Aki
After
does.
1 year,
no,
yes.
no.
After 1 year, yes.
No, 5 years.
Depends on the country.
On the country. In
Five,
Canada.
5 years, no, Dominic. 5 years, I don't think that
So
there's
what's your
an obligation.
What's your cutoff?
Well, right
What's
now
the-
it's
what's
1
the
year.
1 year, whatever
there are laws.
the current
1
law
year
is.
in Canada.
So you're
right?
asking him what is his cutoff or what is the law?
No, the law. I know what the law is.
But that's my main point though is that people are allowed. Women should be allowed
of course.
to be able to exercise their choice as a parent,
Yeah, of
then to
course.
exercise their choice as a professional,
Yes.
and to be given a fair opportunity. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah.
So-
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay,
But-
we agree. That's it.
Now,
Okay.
And by the way,
a person or an individual's concept of what's fair and what's not
Yeah, exactly.
may differ.
Yeah.
So you can have a child, go back to work for 6 months, have another child, go back to take another year.
And they
off.
do that.
And there are
Some-
people that
some-
do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And take advantage
And
of
the
that.
same thing with
of that right.
fathers. Fathers that also
You're
also
allowed 3 months off as a father, I think.
Well, you
parental
can-
leave or
some
6
societies
months.
more.
You can combine it. It depends.
No,
on-
and be careful. I mean,
Yeah.
we have a broad viewing and listening
Exactly,
audience.
so-
Yeah.
We're talking about jurisdictions that
That's
may
it.
have laws that differ completely.
That's it.
That's it.
Whatever the law dictates, you have to respect
Yeah.
as an
Exactly.
employer
Have to Canada.
and as an employee.
Come to
Period.
Canada and have
My
children.
point is that you can't take 5 years off. Let's say you were VP of something and you take 5 years off. And
You ain't VP anymore.
you're thinking of coming back as
Of
VP.
course.
I couldn't take 2 weeks vacation for God's
Exactly.
sake.
Well, that's the other extreme. You admit that's
Hey, that's the way it works,
That's
man.
the way it works.
well that
You
know,
work.
Depends on the environment.
Exactly. Now look,
That's another
I think in
conversation
terms
about
of
what kind of work
equality-
environment that is.
we've come a long way. Well, they've come a long way. I mean, with the laws and everybody's attitudes have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some work to be done, but
By and large, in
By and
North
large,
America,
yeah.
women have more or less, I mean, more than less, achieved
yeah,
equality.
exactly. I do agree.
The trends have been positive, have been
Yeah.
favorable in Western civilization.
Yes, which is
Right.
great for our daughters, and
Yeah.
I don't think any of us around this table disagree with the concept and aren't happy with that concept.
I
think we're all happy with
I would
that.
be curious to know what our wives, our daughters, and female listeners would have to say.
I don't care what the women think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's good.
Yeah. And
There we go.
a professional is a professional regardless of gender. End of story.
Yeah, what's troubling is that
Oh.
there are still many regions of the world
That doesn't,
where women are second-class
that
citizens at
doesn't
best.
just apply to professionals. Waitress, it's everybody.
Yeah. Well, fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, to me, a waitress, a waiter, they're professional people too.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
What's your definition of professional?
That's
Okay,
not
all right.
the-
I'm stretching it. I'm
Yeah.
stretching it. I'm,
Well, I
my-
think
I'm
you're-
stretching
yeah,
it.
it's not a.
I'm stretching it. My point is,
You
everybody.
stretching a point? Aggie? No, come on.
Look, the point is, it's a quality person, quality working person, whether it's male or female, is irrelevant. It's the quality of the person that matters.
If Aki was a pitcher in
Right.
baseball, it would be just screwball.
Listen, I'd much rather have a female nurse than a male
Find
nurse.
that.
And why is that, Naren?
You would fight with.
I'd much rather have a female nurse than a male nurse.
Got it. And
Okay.
why is that?
Because I think women are more empathetic, mostly, unless the guy is gay, and then maybe he'll be more empathetic.
But you
as
don't
well.
care what other people think or feel.
No, if they're more empathetic, they'll be more empathetic to me as a patient. So I prefer to have a
I
female
don't care
nurse
about
than
the
a male
empathy.
nurse.
Okay.
I care about the competence.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think female
I don't
nurses
care
will be
about the
just as
empathy.
competent.
Just be
No,
competent.
empathy is important, guys. Come on, empathy is important.
Yeah,
You can't. For some people, it is, and for others,
Yeah.
less so.
Oh, it's a,
For me,
it's
it's
a basic
important.
human
Yeah.
quality.
No, it's like you say nurse. I use the I've used
Caregivers.
this example with doctors.
Yeah.
Said, I don't care if they have a terrible personality.
Yeah.
I don't care if they don't empathize.
Yeah.
I want somebody who's like at the top of the heap as far as skill is concerned.
Yeah, and
I
tough.
want the most competent
And tough.
individual.
Yeah, agree.
There you go. Okay.
You know,
I agree with
Well,
that.
I think empathy is a part of competence.
But it matters to you. I'm saying
Yeah.
to me it doesn't
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
Well, again, a doctor is a different thing than a nurse. So,
Is it?
no, definitely. A
Would
doctor
you let,
will.
would you let a nurse? And I know what he's going to say. Would you let a nurse operate on you?
No, but that's not what he's.
Come on, a doctor is different than a nurse. A doctor will make the diagnosis and the prescription.
I
A
understand.
nurse will take
Of
care of
course,
you
of course.
afterwards.
I
That's why I want empathy in a nurse.
I
And
agree
a
with
doctor, I
Naren.
don't give a shit about empathy.
I agree with Naren.
So let's
Yeah.
separate the professions here. They're both healthcare professionals, but there's a different
I
role.
don't know why you would have a different level of empathy requirement.
Because a nurse will take care of you. A doctor doesn't give a shit about taking care of you.
He's taking
a doctor,
care of you.
No, he's
He's got 1,000
diagnosing
other
you.
patients.
He's diagnosing you. A doctor's
You're-
job is to
So does
diagnose.
the nurse.
No, a nurse's job is
The
not to
job description
diagnose
is
you.
different. The job description of a doctor and a nurse
Come on,
is different.
No, let's not argue this one.
Yeah.
I don't bank.
Well,
on
let's. What the
No,
screwball time?
no.
I don't bank on empathy. Never will.
Oh, come on. For a nurse, definitely. For a caregiver, definitely. I'd rather have a female
are you
caregiver.
cleaning up his spit?
I don't know. Sorry.
No.
I hope it's spit, and then I'll stop there.
Hork.
All right, we're going to wrap this
Yeah, I
up.
think
On
we should
the
wrap it up.
subject of women's equality, Aki, please weigh in with
We
your
are
final
going.
thoughts.
We are going in the right direction.
Yes.
I think we recognize that what's important here is that women have all the options at their disposal that they wish to take advantage of. That's the way it should be. And women still need to be supported in many respects, but we're going in the right direction, and I'm very happy in the direction that we're going in. And you're very welcome, Sophia, my daughter. I love you.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you saying that as the resident cuck?
Dominic.
T-shirts. RC. I'll wear it with pride.
So in that case, my wife, I think, had all the opportunities. She had a brilliant career. We have 2 daughters. They're
And you
both-
take credit for all of that.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
No. Half of it. And they're doing well, great careers. One of them has a baby, so they have all the opportunities. We've come a long way. And the future is good.
Well, I agree. I agree with everything that was said. Women have more or less achieved equality in North America. They've got a few little things here and there, but by and large, they can decide whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it. There's consent. There's also there's so many things that have come up to speed from an equality perspective, which I'm grateful for because I also have a daughter, and I want the world to be better for her, North America wise anyway. And yeah, I think we've progressed quite a ways, but there are differences in men and women. And we should recognize what those differences are and not try to turn women into men, because we should celebrate the differences. We need that as society. Children need that. They need moms and dads together, and they both have different roles. They're not the same goddamn roles. And I'll stick to that. For me, that's important. But yeah, I believe in equality. I am a feminist in that sense, that I do believe in equality, and I would fight for equality for women, but men and women are not the same.
So for our Western audience, I would say we've come a long way over the last century or so, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. Stay with it and don't take your eye off the prize. For other regions of the world, you are falling further and further behind.
Yeah.
There is no excuse for women not having the same rights and the same opportunities as men. And you really need to, I'm talking to the women now, you really need to look to yourselves in order to create those opportunities, because
Blaming women.
They're not going to be handed to you. If it's not clear by now, your societies are stuck in the dark ages. All right, guys, on that note, enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you.
For the most part, Nuren. Thanks to our listeners and viewers for joining us, and we'll look forward to doing it again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.